So guys, we're going to review the 350X. It's a superb bike. So let me tell you something about 350X. So it was launched in the year 2017. If you see about the Thunderbird, it was originally launched in the year 2002. This bike here has dual channel ABS. The braking is really improved a lot. So the braking bite is really good, especially the ABS. Yeah, it does interfere when you're braking at 100 or 80, but the ABS is really smooth, the braking is really good. So even short people can ride this bike comfortably, because if you see the seat, it's very low and it's too comfortable. So it's a perfect tourer in this range. So in Royal Enfield, this can be considered as one of the best tourer because of the tank capacity. It's 20 liters. So that's like 720 kilometers or maybe above if you ride slow. But still, it gives a mileage of approximately 35 to 40 depending upon the speed you ride. If you ride in like 60 to 80, it will give 40 easily. But if you ride a little bit fast, then it would reduce to 35 or 36. The cost of the bike, it would come approximately to 2 lakhs. So this bike here is just 2 lakhs, but with all the extra fittings like the crash guard and the backrest, it costed around 2,05,000 exact. So now let's get started with the review. As usual, let's get started with the front tires, brakes and suspension. Let's go. So guys, talking about the front tire, it's 90 by 90, whereas the back tire is 120 by 80. If you see the braking, both are disc brakes. If you can see, this is the speed sensor. So this is a dual channel ABS bike. So guys, as far as I know, this is the only bike in Royal Enfield which has a tubeless tire. And guys, at the front it is dual piston caliper, whereas at the back it's single piston caliper. So the dual channel ABS seems to work pretty fine. But when you're braking at 100 km per hour, there is some interference. I can feel that tuck, 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 that thing is there.
Tuck, 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 that thing is there.
That thing is there.
And if you talk about the vibrations, Royal Enfield will have vibrations no matter what. So there are no much vibration in the handlebar and the side mirrors, but the speedometer seems to be vibrating a lot in lower RPMs. But if you accelerate more than 2000 RPM, then the vibrations go off. And if you see about the footpack vibration, there are vibrations in the footpack, but not as much as classic 350, but there are vibrations. And if you see, these are foldable footpacks. And guys, what will come in your mind when you look at a bike? The looks, right? So this has got one of the beautiful looks, because look at the paint job. I just love it personally. Look at this matte black finish on the engine. So everywhere it is just black except the fins, but it's fine. It's really good, because whereas if you see in the classic 350, which will have a chrome part, so after some time, due to the grease and oil leaking from the clutch here, it gets dirty and there are stains over it. So we'll have to keep buffing and all that, but which is avoided in this. And guys, coming to the bike's handling, it's perfect. Perfect for cruising, perfect for a city ride, everything is good. So Royal Enfield bikes are made for comfort, so this is the most comfortable tourer in this range. So this is a superb bike. And guys, now let's talk about the headlight. So the headlight is having a different strategy, there are like two bulbs. So guys, this projector is for the low beam. So when you turn on the high beam, this turns off and the high beam bulb turns on. They've used a bulb for high beam and then a projector for low beam, which makes it really good because the range is amazing. So especially at night, you can see properly when the low beam is on. But there's one disadvantage. When you turn the high beam, the low beam turns off. So you can't see anything in the front. So that is one disadvantage. So that if you want to use both together, then you will have to get some fog lights, because when you're touring or when you're going on a long ride, there are places where there are no street lamps, there's nothing, it's too dark. So that time you will need a fog light. So that is one disadvantage which I noticed. And guys, if you talk about the lighting in this bike, the indicator use bulbs, whereas the tail light is again LED, and this comes with a combination of bulb and a projector lamp. And guys, if you talk about the suspension, there are telescopic forks in the front and back. You have a dual suspension again, same like the classic 350. So we can't tell that the back suspension is really soft, but the front suspension is actually soft. Trust me, it's really good. So this is how the speedometer console looks. And there's one more change in this bike when you compare this with the 350 Thunderbird, because there is no hazard light switch, whereas in Thunderbird we have a separate button for hazard lights. So guys, if you see the speedometer, we have two ranges. One is miles per hour, one is kilometer per hour, and here we have the RPM meter. And guys, let me show you the vibrations now. Can you see it vibrating? So this vibration or this shaking will apparently go off after 2000 RPM, which is not a problem, but yeah, it is vibrating. And guys, let's talk about the engine now. It is 346cc single cylinder air cooled engine. So it's a carburetor engine, there's no fuel injector, but in the 500cc engines we have fuel injection. So guys, if you see the gear rod, it's a little bit front, not like the Royal Enfield Classic 350. In Classic 350, if you see the gear rod, it's here. So for making it more front, because this makes it comfortable, because you can, stretch your knee still here. comfortably. So that's why this is kind of shaking, but yeah, this also has a clink sound when you're switching gears. This is the most comfortable 350 bike in Royal Enfield. It's actually very nice. Look at the handlebar, it's kind of upright, and the seating position is really good because this is kind of like a bucket kind of seat. This gives you a relaxed position, so especially when you're going on long rides, you will feel really comfortable. You won't feel any kind of body strain, body pains, anything. And guys, talking about the pillion ride, so pillion rider is not going to have that much comfort without this backrest, because we will be given a Gabriel here, which will be very hard to hold. And even if you hold, you have to bend and hold. That's a very big disadvantage. So I would recommend you to get this backrest, and then this would cost you approximately around 1000 to 1500. Depends upon the brand's quality and everything. So guys, one more big advantage is you can remove the seat very easily just by pulling a string. And you know what, that is for maintenance purposes. You won't be having anything to fiddle with inside it, but let me show you how do you open it. And I'll also be showing you how to open the toolbox and the first aid kit. So guys, if you can see this yellow color wire here, if you pull this, the seat comes off. So yeah, that's how you deassemble the seat. So if you can see, the seat is out, it's in my hand. Look at this, it wouldn't be even 2-3 kilograms, it's so light. So let me put it back. Now for accessing the toolkit, can you see this Allen key here? Yeah, so this Allen key should be used to access the toolkit. So let me put this back for a while. So if you can see, this is the toolkit box. So underneath this, we'll have a screw kind of thing, which we'll have to open with the Allen key. So guys, if you can see, this is the toolkit. There's no first aid kit in this bike, but this is how we open this box, and you can keep documents here. So guys, removing the toolkit is a very hard job. I hate it. That's very, very bad, because I had to struggle so much to lock it. Opening is very easy, but closing it is very tough. So yeah, in the classic 350, all you have to do is open this kind of key. So guys, if we talk about the quality of switches and other things on the handlebar, it's really good. And if you see the position of the petrol tank opening, it's on the right side, whereas in other bikes, it is right at the center. This is to be considered as an advantage because you can directly put the gun inside here, the petrol gun. So guys, now let me turn on the engine and show you the exhaust sound. So guys, can you hear that sound? That's called the tappet sound. It will be there in every Royal Enfield bike commonly. And guys, if you see the gap in between the mudguard and the tire, it's too much. So this is a disadvantage. If you see in comfort wise, it's very comfortable and it'll have lots of gap when you're going on bumps and humps. But the problem is when you're going in water, it splashes all over the back. So when I was riding fast in the water splashed here. I don't know how it splashed, but from the sides it's tending to come up. So that's one disadvantage. One more thing is the brake. If you see the back brake, it is here. So there's not even 2 fingers gap between the leg guard and this one. So when you're applying brakes, that becomes a problem. So see, if you see one more thing, can you see this? This is the accelerator cable. Along with that, this is the air intake cable. So when you give throttle, if you can see this is going. So when you give throttle, when this goes up, there's petrol sent inside the engine. Simultaneously, there's air also sent in this. So that is happening simultaneously, which is a very great thing, because if you see in classic 350, air is common. Like the amount of air entering the engine will be fixed, whereas the carburetor petrol release would be changing according to the throttle given.